Fox Sports.
We are the Fox. We are FC.
It is perhaps the most important homestand of the season. The Royals return to Kauffman Stadium after another winning trip and begin an 8-game homestand. 4 against the Oakland A's, a last-place team, and 4 against the White Sox, a fourth-place team. Only 20 regular season games remain, and if the Royals continue to win, October baseball is possible yet again. Royals baseball back in Kansas City for, believe it or not, the second to last homestand of the regular season. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Hi everyone, welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. I think there are 3 categories of teams. There are teams that you hope to beat. There are teams that you need to beat. There are teams you should beat. You should beat. And with no disrespect to the Oakland A's and the Chicago White Sox, if the Royals are an October team this year, they need to beat up on the A's and the White Sox.
Totally agree with you, Rhino. After backing themselves into a corner in July, only winning 7 games, but coming out of that corner in August, winning 20, do they have a good final push left? This homestand will tell a lot.
Interesting that the Royals have had some trouble this year with the American League West. They've been very good inside their division, but for whatever reason, the West has given them problems.
Yeah, and you know, it's hard to even think back April 15th and 17th when the Royals last played the Oakland A's. But still, this is a team they should be able to handle, but they've got to score more runs than 3.07, that's for sure. And that ERA, hold them down. Hopefully they can get game 1. It'll make it really good for the next 2.
And the A's are catching the Royals at a bad time. They're playing very well, led on offense by the American League Player of the Week, Kendrys Morales. Across the plaza.
You better open up them doors and duck.
And that is blasted into deep left center field. 10 runs driven in this series for Morales.
Morales continues his lava-hot hitting.
Well, we've had many surprises this year, Hud. Kendrys Morales being named the American League Player of the Week and being our Honda Most Trusted Player is not one of them.
No, this guy's been very steady, especially since the All-Star break. But early in the season, he sputtered. People were worried about Kendrys. They were thinking, oh no, where's our DH gone? He's back. He knows it's how strong you finish, not how you start.
Royals been pitching well lately, and all of a sudden, there's little concern over the number 5 spot in the rotation. Monty will cover that when we come back.
Between the Royals and A's, Oakland took 2 of 3 all the way back in April. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. The pitching was totally different for both teams back then. Chris Medlin and Chris Young had starts. The Royals have really been looking, though, all year for that 5th starter, and they have it in a guy that pitched in relief back in Oakland back then, Dylan G. He has really figured things out. What's he done?
Well, you're looking for solidification of that 5th slot, and what Dylan G has been a guy that's going out there now here as of late, especially over his last 4 or 5 starts, and been very solid as a starting pitcher. And you look at what he's doing. I really like the way he's mixing in all of his pitches. He's not an overpowering pitcher, but when he gets consistent work, he's consistent in that strike zone, missing bats, and you really have to like what we've seen the last 4 starts from Dylan G. And if you go and look at this comparison here, the first 4 months of the season, 5th starters really did not fare well at all. 7.25 ERA. However, since then, Dylan G has done a nice job at 4.04 ERA.
Well, he is looking to do that again tonight. This much is sure. Alcides Escobar will be in the lineup just like he is every day. More on the Iron Man next. Perez not in the lineup. His fiance had a baby today. Ryan and Huddle have more on that later. So Alcides Escobar lobbying for playing time at catcher. Having a little bit of fun. Yeah, put him in there, no chance. He's going to be at shortstop as he is every single day. Monty, this guy is a modern-day Iron Man.
Well, he really is. He goes out there. He loves to play the game. He loves to play the game the right way, too. He plays hard. I love it when a guy is willing to do everything. He may not feel great every day, but he goes out there and performs. And the way he's swinging the bat, there's no sign of fatigue.
Well, the medical staff says he is a freak when it comes to staying healthy and strength. Their University of Kansas Hospital injury report is the anti-injury report. We couldn't figure out a way to get Esky onto this report, which is a good thing.
We wouldn't have to build a hospital if we're waiting on Esky.
No question about it. Alcides Escobar, oh, by the way, in his last 18 games is batting .333. The Royals offense looking good of late. First pitch from Kauffman Stadium is coming up next.
Degrees at Kauffman Stadium, and we start an hour earlier than normal because school is back in session, so hoping that more families will be coming out, and we have a big crowd that's slowly building here tonight. Oakland A's are here for 4 games. It's been a struggle for them offensively. In their last 15 games, they're averaging fewer than 3 runs per game. Fewest amount of runs scored over the last 15 in the major leagues. And they'll be facing a pitcher who's done well lately. Dylan G, 4-3 at home. And in his last 4 starts, home or away, his ERA is under 3.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, this is really what they want. Ned Yost, for him to go at least 5 innings, he'll be happy with that. Now, it seems that 75 pitches seems to be his max. But look, when he uses all 4 pitches, he's able to do the job by keeping them down. The only issues he's having really have been in the first inning this year. He's got a 7.62 ERA with the opponents hitting .350. So that first inning has been difficult for G. Hopefully he can get through these Oakland A's.
Joe Wendell. A lot of unfamiliar names on the A's roster. Able to check his swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. No batting gloves, Joe Wendell.
Old school.
1-2.
Batting gloves or not. You're not hitting that pitch there.
Originally out of the Indians organization, Joe Wendell. Escobar to the middle. Stretched by Hosmer. And on a close play, Wendell is out.
Okay, look, if you're going to hit to Escobar, you better make sure that you hit it way to his left or right. But if it's somewhere in between, look at Haas just staying on the base. You're going to be out. He's a Gold Glover for a reason. And if you wear the gold in the American League in this modern day right now, you're really something. There's some great shortstops in the American League. Haas, I don't see anybody dethroning him, taking the gold from him. Do you, Rhino?
Quick thinking, no.
Okay. You just can't see it. There's nobody who can do what he can do in this league. He picks it. He's got a great throwing arm, quick feet, runs, saves errors, saves pitches. Not much he can't do.
Just trying to run through the league real quickly and see what other first basemen jump out. A lot of times the reputation precedes the player, and coaches and managers who vote on that award to start passing the ballot around, and they go, oh yeah, what about Hosmer? He had a good year, didn't he? Now a nice play by Christian Colon, who was over on the left side of second base, and they're 2 down.
That was nice. Colon called off Escobar on the shortstop side of the bag. No problem. Royals defense, sponsored by Ford, still one of the top teams in the game for sure defensively. Plus 40 defensive runs saved. Escobar, Cuthbert, Colon getting another start at second base. I believe Ned Yost wants a little more offense out of that position. Utera in there today because of the birth of Salvi's second child.
His son. So congratulations to Salvi and his fiancee, baby boy Johan Salvador. Two balls and no strikes on Stephen Vogt. There he is.
Nice catch. Huh? Oh, way to go, Mom. Congratulations.
3-0 on Stephen Vogt. When the A's took 2 out of 3 from the Royals in April. We haven't seen these guys since April. Stephen Vogt and Josh Reddick both had big series. Reddick is now with the Dodgers. Vogt had 4 hits and 2 home runs in that 3-game series.
He's powerful. Hasn't had the kind of season he's wanted, though. And speaking about April, I don't think Vogt has cleaned his helmet since then. I got all that pine tar on there, just stuck on there.
And that's common for someone like Vogt who doesn't use batting gloves. Now he might be putting some gloves on now as a base runner. He's putting a guard on, but that's like having a pine tar rag when you're at the plate.
Exactly right.
Need a little extra stick on your hands with no batting gloves, or just touch the front of your helmet.
It's all about the feel with no gloves.
Now Chris Davis, when the Royals were in Oakland, he was really struggling. The A's got him from the Brewers, hoping that he would provide some power, and it wasn't working in the first month of the season. But now he has the most home runs for the A's. He's driven in the most runs, highest slugging percentage, also strikes out quite a bit, so he will pay the price for that big powerful swing.
And how about his upward stance, upright? I mean, doesn't even have any slight bend in his knees whatsoever. Some power hitters, they stand straight up and they leverage their lower half by doing that. Hit off the front side.
Curveball hangs inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
It's almost like he's in a softball league, sitting up there just waiting for that one to come over the middle.
Up the middle. Colon. Jump throw. Got him. Christian Colon, about 25 feet to the left of second base, or out into shallow center field, hitting over.
That's the play of the day.
cologne play on Chris Davis. And now here come the Royals. Whit Merrifield will lead off. And as we mentioned, Drew Butera will catch and bat ninth. Salvador Perez at the birth of his son Johan earlier today. All to face left-hander Ross Detweiler, who has pitched for both the Indians and the A's this year. He's also pitched for the Nationals, the Rangers, and the Braves. He is making his 14th appearance at the big league level this year and his 6th start.
6'5", 210. He's got a nice left-handed build for a lefty and for a righty. You like those pitchers tall. They can have a good downhill plane. He's not overpowering, but he'll go 90 to 93 at max. Overpowering's more 95, kind of the Duffy style.
One and two on Merrifield.
Detweiler, he's got 3 pitches to offer, and that's all he thinks he'll need. Fastball, slider, change. The fastball, he likes to nibble on the corners. He's not a guy who wants to challenge hitters. He's going to use the high strike with the fastball and then come down low with his changeup and breaking ball with runners in scoring position. So he likes to change the eye level of the hitter.
Whit hit .381 on the road trip to Minnesota and Chicago. Just outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Whitley hitting .357 off of lefties. They had letting him in that leadoff spot to get on base. But that road trip, man, he was raking.
Hit it down around the end of the bat. Detweiler changed the speed just enough to disrupt Whit's timing.
Speaking of that too, Rhino, he changed his speeds on his curveball, so he's kind of a crafty lefty. Figures it out. The Oakland A's, -69 defensive runs saved, has not been a good season for him. Had a lot of injuries on this ball club, a lot of guys playing out of position. You see Valencia's in right. He normally plays third. Tough year.
And now Paulo Orlando, and he shoots it into the right field corner, but foul. Paulo hit 185 on the trip, but that just tells you part of the story. He had at least 5 or 6 hard hit outs. And he reached on catcher's interference.
How about that?
That's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Be a strong push with 20 left for Orlando to hit 300. He's been over 300 all season. Now he's just dipping below it, about 295. With his ability to get infield hits, the way he stays in the middle of the field, he's a 300 hitter. If he stays healthy. The way he pressures defenses.
The glove of Healy to Simeon.
And guess what?
And that just adds to Paulo's recent bad luck. So 5-6-3 for the second out.
I mean, that's just tough. Now, can Healy throw him out after he gets up and catches it? I don't know. But stay at it. That's what drives hitters crazy. The mental side of the game. Frustration. Don't let it get the best of you.
Found out earlier today that Kendrys Morales was named the American League Player of the Week, and it's easy to forget about what Eric Hosmer did on the trip. He hit 3 home runs and drove in 8, including another home run against Chris Sale yesterday, becoming the only left-hand hitter who can claim 3 home runs against Chris Sale.
Yeah, Haas backed off the plate a couple of inches back towards the dugout so that he can reach that inside pitch and still drive it to left. Good swing there. He just missed that.
Ryan Healy makes a 2-hand grab, and the Royals are down in order in the bottom of the first. That is former Navy Supply Petty Officer Angela Ligason. She just found out that she has a brand new Chevy Malibu, payment free, given to her by our Kansas City Chevy dealers and AmVets, post 181. Angela, born in KC, grew up in Grandview and joined the Navy in 1993.
Pretty special.
Yonder Alonso leads off against Dylan G. Hits it hard, but 2 hops right to Christian Colon, who's already made 2 good plays. That one routine, and 1 away in the 2nd inning.
Wow, that one's a lot easier, man. The last 2 plays he's made in that 1st inning, oh man, oh, the degree of difficulty was off the chart, especially this one. He's thinking second. No, I got to regroup. I'm going to go all the way to 3rd. Look at the hang time. Stayed on top. Got him. That was sweet. Very difficult, but he was able to get up in the air and stay on top with his throwing angle, so he could get a nice throw. Now there wasn't a lot on it, but it was the quick release that got the play made. Very nice. He's saying, don't hit it to me. I'm on a salary drive.
This is A's 3rd baseman Ryan Healy. And he gets a base hit to left field. Runner at first with 1 out. Since the All-Star break, among rookies, he has the highest batting average, 2nd most home runs, 2nd most doubles. And that would be to Cheslor Cuthbert, who has the most doubles. A 3rd round pick of the A's 3 years ago. Ryan Healy out of the University of Oregon. Now Marcus Semien. And he takes inside for ball 1. Semien has provided some power from the shortstop position. Not much of a batting average or on base percentage, but he's at 23 home runs.
It's a very nice player. Defense has improved under the tutelage of Ron Washington.
Here's our Toyota League leaders for tonight. Most home runs by shortstops in the American League. Semien with 1 more than Troy Tulowitzki. Riding inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. At the moment, he is in a home run drought. Hit his 23rd home run 28 games ago and over 100 at bats. 108 at bats since his last home run.
And I was talking about him having a better year defensively. Now he's made 18 errors at shortstop this year, Rhino, but last year he made 35. So I'm saying he's made some big time improvements.
Line to left field. Alex is coming up, and he had to reach up. The ball carried on him. 2 outs. Talk about a rising fastball. That's kind of what that line drive was like.
Tough read. Now we saw on the road trip how he's able to read those ones with topspin as the hitter hits the top of the baseball. This one here, he kind of squared it up and had a little backspin, so Alex had to make that adjustment. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And that goes in part of the difficulty of reading a line shot right at you. Very tough at times.
And here's the A's catcher, Bruce Maxwell. He was an A's 2nd round pick 4 years ago. Bruce Maxwell sounds like a private investigator, doesn't it?
Yes. He's from Germany. I'll let you say that city.
Wiesbaden.
Okay.
Wiesbaden. And if I'm not pronunciating that correctly, my apologies to all of our fans from Wiesbaden, Germany.
Okay, no, it sounds good to me.
He went to college in Alabama from Birmingham Southern. Dave Holtzman reminds me that Weiss in German is Weiss. Weisswaden.
Okay.
A little bit high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And now full count. 6'1", 251 pounds. Bruce Maxwell.
He's thick, strong, durable. That's what you want for a catcher.
Healy runs, and we'll do it again.
Healy's only running it because it's 3-2 and 2 outs. Everybody runs on that when you're on the bases on that count. He's not a base stealer. Threw him a changeup last pitch. He'll throw it again. If he threw a 3-2. Looked like a little slider there. Good spot though. Everything out of the middle.
Healy takes off again, and that's ball 4. Dylan G has walked 2 in the first 2 innings.
Fans, be sure to come out to the K tomorrow for T-Shirt Tuesday. First 10,000 fans through the gates will receive an exclusive Bo Jackson T-shirt presented by Metropolitan Community College. Get tickets today at Royals.com/T-Shirt Tuesday.
And a warm welcome back for Brett Eibner. Eibner played in 26 games with the Royals before being traded to the A's for Billy Burns. Those are his numbers overall. He struggled with the A's. He is 10 out of 54. That's 185.
So Eibner, like his teammate Chris Davis, is standing straight up, although Eibner has a little more bend in his knees. Not much. A couple of guys with upright stances. It allows you to get into your lower half.
2-0. Eibner made his big league debut on May 27th here against the White Sox. Got his first big league hit in that game, a double against Miguel Gonzalez. But it was the next day, and I'm sure he talked about for many months afterward. A walk-off hit in his second big league game. That was in that 7-run 9th inning against the White Sox. He had 2 hits in that inning, by the way, but it was his hit that capped the 7-run 9th.
That's what we were looking for, a foul ball.
So that was May 28th. And then just a few days later, he went down with a left ankle injury. Missed 14 games going on the disabled list. And when he got back, he got his first big league home run. Hit a home run here against Justin Verlander.
And had that been the injury we thought it was when he went down out there in left center field, he wouldn't be playing now. His season would have been over.
You and I were thinking left Achilles tendon.
Because we didn't see a twist or a roll or anything, you know, when he planted his foot, like typically you'd see a guy when he rolls his ankle.
Cologne's been busy.
And G executing a pitch when he had to. Nice job.
No score to the bottom of the second.
Chicago. Check that out. Scoreless here at Kauffman Stadium. Ross Detweiler, the Southwest Missouri State product, is on the hill. Sixth pick overall by the Washington Nationals in '07, and he has been up in some form or another in the big leagues 9 of the last 10 years, but hasn't really faced the Royals only once. But there are a lot of players in the dugout and that are here today that did face him this year in the minor leagues because he's been up and down so much. And, you know, they all feel like the Royals can get to him, but they said that the one thing to look out for, he loves to work away. Talking to Tony Cruz and talking to Tommy Gregg, the AAA hitting coach who just came up here, and he's up there in the booth with some of the front office right now. And what they said is that this is a guy that mostly will live away. He's got good action on his fastball. And interesting talking to one other guy that might have a good pointer or two for some of these players, and that would be Hunter Dozier, who homered twice on a game against him when he was playing for Nashville, Omaha versus Nashville in late July. Guys.
Thank you, Joel. A two-hopper out to Healy at third, and Kendrys Morales is out. What a trip for Kendrys Morales. 5 home runs and 14 driven in, and for the second time this year was the American League Player of the Week.
Yep. Detweiler got him on a changeup. But congratulations. If you get it once a season or even once in your career, that's pretty impressive. But twice in one season, good for him. He's carrying the team. But Joel's report that he got was similar to mine. He's going to stay on the edges on both sides of the plate. He's not a guy who's going to challenge guys. And now the Royals off of lefties this year hitting .271. That's 4th best in the American League, that average. And having beat Chris Sale yesterday, they should be able to handle this guy. Doesn't have the deception with the arms and legs flying everywhere like Sale does.
Or the velocity.
Right. Very a little bit more conventional.
One and two on Alex.
But he's got a nice smooth delivery.
He is a Missouri native. Grew up in Wentzville, which is outside of St. Louis, and then went to MSU in Springfield, Missouri State University. As Joel said, first round pick of the Nationals in '07, 6th overall pick. So he was a big time prospect for the Nationals.
Just look at him, you see his height and you see his nice long solid delivery. I mean, he very fluid.
Pulled foul outside of first base. So that was 9 years ago when he was drafted, and it's been a struggle for him. Of pitchers in the big leagues now who have at least 60 decisions, he has the lowest winning percentage. His career record is 22-40, a .355 winning percentage. Full count on Alex. Spent time on the disabled list. He's had hip surgery. He's had back problems. He's had shoulder issues. Alex takes a walk, and that was after being down in the count 0-2. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the KC metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack.
Nice walk by Alex, 48th on the season. Hosmer's the only one's got Alex beat with 54 walks. But we all know the Royals, that's not their brand of offense. They'd rather slash and dash.
Cuthbert taking all the way. Chesler has just 2 hits in his last 20 at bats.
been scuffing a little bit, swinging a lot of pitchers' pitches. But he does have a nice average against lefties, 330. 3 out of his 10 home runs against a lefty. Oakland A's defense playing him straight up. And that's a good spot for him when they play him.
Reaches out and pulls an off-speed pitch into left field. So after a tough trip, Cuthbert's off to a good start in the homestand. And the Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
Hey, there's the Royals emergency catcher. As before the game, he shocked his teammates as Salvi was out to the hospital, experiencing the birth of his 2nd child. Esky says, hey, look, don't worry, guys, look. And as far as throwing guys out, I can do that.
And he probably could.
No question. He could play anywhere on the diamond and do it well.
Esky on the trip lost a 14-game hitting streak, but he reached base in every game of the road trip. And that on-base streak is at 18 games.
And he's been up in his average against lefties. Now he's at 222, but he's been under 200 most of the season. And that 291 batting average with the runner in scoring position could play here. Get Dylan G a lead.
That is a foul ball. Royals aren't sure. That is not reviewable. Mike Jerschele, maybe he was just doing what a third base coach is supposed to do and not play umpire, but he was waving the runners home.
I was just going to say, Jerschele already had it. Alex Gordon crossed the plate. Look at Jersch.
Just has to cross the bag in fair territory. Third base umpire is Mike Estabrook. And instead it's a ground ball to second and an inning-ending double play. So that close to an RBI double, a break for Detweiler, and then he gets the 4-6-3 double play. No score at the end of 2. This 6th season as A's manager. Just 2 years ago, the A's went to the postseason for a 3rd consecutive year. And of course, losing to the Royals in the wild card game. Big struggle last year, 94 losses. They are 22 games below 500 coming into tonight. And they have really struggled offensively. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Fewest runs per game, lowest on base percentage. lowest slugging percentage, and those are or were A's staples: on base percentage and slugging percentage. They wanted guys who could get on base and hit for power.
Yep. Well, the Royals, they took that formula and threw it out the window and won them a championship with aggressive, put the ball in play style. We don't walk, we put the ball in play and we pressure defenses, and if you don't make the play, you're in trouble. And when you have speed like that, you try to hurry up the throw and you end up giving the Royals a rally. So look, they've kind of turned that Moneyball theme around.
Joey Wendell grounded out to Escobar in the first inning. Great late movement. That is Dylan G's first strikeout.
Oh man, I'll say that rushed him. G's surprised. Look at the movement on that two-seam fastball. Yeah, Wendell, you got to go. Good pitch.
One ball, no strikes. Dylan pitched Tuesday at Minnesota, and he got in trouble in the first 2 innings. Gave up 4 runs on 3 home runs, and that was to the first 8 hitters. But as he's done several times this year, he bounced back from that. And in his last 4 innings, no runs on 2 hits. He has pitched into the 6th inning in 7 straight starts. And he has completed 6 innings in 5 of his last 7 starts, doing all the things you'd hope for from a number 5 starter.
That's right. But you have to have give Dave Island, give Ned Yost some credit for staying with him when they could have easily tried to find another 5th starter somewhere. And they stayed with him, said, no, this is why we got him. We know he can pitch. And it was tough at times.
Line to right, and that's down for a base hit. A couple of hops to Whit Merrifield. A's have a runner at first with 1 out. Remember, you can hang out with your friends at Kauffman Stadium every Wednesday home game, and there's only 2 left. For just $10 if you have your school ID. You can enjoy a happy hour special at the Boulevard Grill concession stand as you listen to live local music on the Outfield Experience stage before the game. So only 2 left. Go to Royals.com/student night for the last 2 bands and 4 tickets. Ball 1 to Stephen Vogt. He walked in the first inning.
No.
2 balls, no strikes on Vogt.
G's induced 9 ground ball double plays this season. Love one here.
3-0.
And that's downstairs, 3-0. A 4-pitch walk, so Dylan G has walked 1 in each of the first 3 innings. Two on with 1 out, and Chris Davis coming up. Here's our Kubota power stats. Chris Davis has the 3rd highest percentage of his team's home runs in the major leagues, trailing Freddie Freeman of the Braves and Todd Frazier, who we just saw over the weekend.
Just found out Dozier hit his 40th tonight.
Wow.
Ball in.
Just a week ago, we were talking about, well, he'll be having his sights set on 35, and then now he's past that. He just got so hot. Now he's got 40.
40 home runs.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago when he hit 18 home runs. And people are saying, wow, this guy's got some power. One ball, one strike on Chris Davis. The Twins record, by the way, is 49. Armin Killebrew in 1969.
I don't know if he can get to that mark. But the way he rolls them up,
come close.
He doesn't miss. I mean,
was that a leadoff home run, by the way? It was not. That almost got Davis. 2 balls, 1 strike. Davis hit 27 last year for the Brewers. And that was after spending some time on the disabled list after having surgery on his knee. And now he's hit 35 this year for the A's with 3 weeks to go.
Well, he's the lane ball candidate. Wasn't Vogt. Davis is grounded to 17. That leads his team.
Oof. He has hit 36 home runs. Wow. Second tier of the Water Spectacular in left center field. That was just a line drive home run, and that's worth 3 for the Oakland A's.
He was all over that ball. I mean, that ball, I watched it off the bat and it sailed. I mean, it just took off. No wonder center fielder Paulo Orlando didn't even move hardly. He took one step and said, man, that ball is way out of here. That little 2-seamer down the middle, that's right where he was looking. Look at that. See, short, everything's short from that. Standing up tall, leverages. He's got great hands. Very little movement. Takes him right to the ball.
Cuthbert to the A's dugout, and it's on the roof and off the netting. So Davis has now hit 36 of the A's 146 home runs this year. Yonder Alonso grounded out to second in the second inning. He chops it out to Escobar. 2 outs. A's with 1 out got a single with the count 1-2. And then a 4-pitch walk to Vogt, and then the Davis 3-run home run. Ryan Healy single to left in the second inning. Down and away, ball 1. Davis, remember, lost a hit on that jump throw by Christian Colon in the first inning. That line drive almost hit third base coach Ron Washington, who already was nowhere near the third base coach's box.
No, he must know Healy pretty well. Big, strong guy. 6. There's Ron Washington. Good guy. Sweet. Very good infield instructor. And a good manager, too, for the Rangers.
Took them to 2 World Series.
Sure did. But this guy, Healy, he's 6'5", 225. He's a beast. Big guy. Well, you got him at 6'4". I got him at 6'5".
Well, he's grown since he submitted those numbers.
Okay.
3 balls, 1 strike.
Still pretty good size, and I know when he went over to first base there at his last time up, he's standing right there looking eye to eye to Hosmer, who's 6'4".
Four walks from Dylan G in 2 2/3 innings. And that gets Dave Island out of the Royals dugout. our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball as we look at teams in the playoff hunt in the National League. Cardinals, and I remember this when we were there much earlier in the season, were just not winning at home. And the Giants, this is one of those even years where they have won a World Series in the last 3 even years, but they've been really bad since the All-Star break. They're 3 games back of San Francisco in the West. And don't forget about the Seattle Mariners. They're 5 games back in the West and 3.5 back in the wild card. They're the team along with the Astros in front of the Royals. Semien pops it up, and Colon goes way out from second base, and that ends the inning. Chris Davis shows why he has over 30 home runs this year. A line drive 3-run home run to give the A's the first lead. Owner and public servant for the Jackson County Courthouse, Mary Alice Thompson has served the community through clothing and food drives and volunteering at her neighborhood church, where she was in charge of the kitchen, feeding members and the community. After retiring, Mary Alice began working for the Royals at the designated driver booth here at Kauffman Stadium, providing wristbands and free sodas to those who pledge to drive sober. She was diagnosed with cancer in 2013, but that hasn't slowed her down. She has not missed a game, regardless of how she's feeling. Mary Alice Thompson enjoying the game in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat.
You are very valuable, Mary Alice. Thank you for what you do. Your enthusiasm. Look at that. She's ready. She's a fan. Loves people and the game.
It's early, but Ross Detweiler has the Royals reaching quite a bit. He's done a good job of changing speeds and keeping the ball down, and Colon rounds out to short.
And he wants to get ahead typically with fastballs and then get him to swing at his curveball and changeup down. And he'll elevate just to make those pitches look a little bit better that are down in the zone.
So Drew Butera in there tonight. If you weren't with us earlier, Salvador Perez welcomed his second son into the world earlier today. Johan Salvador. So Salvi not in there tonight, but may be available later in the game, depending on when he gets to the ballpark, if he comes to the ballpark, with a huge smile, I'm sure.
Oh, you better believe it. I would bet he shows up for tonight. That's the best catch he can make. Dr. Perez.
2-1 on Butera.
I bet if anybody could catch it, maybe Salvi could.
Drew has 2 at-bats against Detweiler, both hits, one of which is a home run. The Royals as a team have only seen Detweiler once before tonight, and that was last year when he was pitching for the Rangers. Inside, 3 balls, 1 strike. Royals beat him 6-3 in May of last season, scoring 3 runs in 5 innings, 9 hits in 5 innings. Line fair off the side wall. Drew Butera digs for second base. And that's his 10th double of the year. That's a career high 10 doubles. So on the trip, he picked up his career high 4th home run, now a career high 10 doubles.
Well, 3-1 count. He worked himself into a good hitter's count and made that fastball over the middle pay. Now that's 14 out of his 28 hits this year for extra bases. 10 doubles, 4 homers. See if that can get him started here in this inning.
Breaking ball, ball 1 to Whit Merrifield. He grounded out to short in the 1st inning. And that was leading off for the Royals in the 1st, and got himself in a hitter's count and had a pitch that was near the middle of the plate, but Detweiler changed speeds just enough and got Whit to hit it off the end of the bat. That fastball is outside. 2-0.
There's a nice wrist average.
Strike over the outside, 2-1.
All right, with second baseman Joey Wendell playing a little bit, kind of holding Butera close. I don't understand it. I think he might rip off the bag, but Merrifield gets a lot of his hits there to the opposite field. Look at that room on the right side.
3-1.
Same count as Butera had. 3-1. Hitters looking for that fastball all over the middle like Drew was.
Full count. Just missed it. That's the way he felt after he grounded out to short. And there are pitchers like that, and it's usually lefties, where a hitter always feels like he just missed him. What do they used to call that? Or maybe still do, a comfortable 0 for 4?
Yeah, hated those.
He'll take a walk. It's Detweiler's second. So right after the A's get 3 in the top of the 3rd, the Royals bring the tying run to the plate with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. Royals alumni batting practice back at Kauffman Stadium. Join Royals alumni. You can take batting practice on the field. The cost is $300. You receive a t-shirt and shorts along with an autographed baseball by the alumni who attend. You must be 25 years of age or older to participate. It's Saturday, September 24th, 2 times from 9 a.m. to noon or 1 p.m. to 4. It's a great time. And we say batting practice, but you can also field ground balls and fly balls. You can run around the outfield warning track if you want to. You can run the bases. Great time.
And plus the weather. You're not going to sweat bullets out there. Beautiful.
Paulo lost a hit on a diving deflection by the 3rd baseman Healy in the 1st inning. Deflected it to the shortstop Simeon, who threw him out. It may have been down. No balls, 2 strikes. couldn't get him to chase. 1-2 on Paulo. Nice crowd for a Monday night. School in session. Royals are 4 games back in the wild card with 20 games to go, including tonight.
And look at the field, how beautiful it is. It's recovered nicely after that 9 inches of rain they had 2 weeks ago. It almost destroyed the field. So Trevor Vance and his guys did a great job while the team was on the road, making it look beautiful again. Paulo waiting him out for a better pitch.
Into left field, that is down. Butera scores. Merrifield scores. Paulo Orlando doubles in 2 to make it a 1-run game.
Exactly what he did. He waited him out. Detweiler. Paulo was able to pull his hands in. You see Bo trying to sneak inside. He's hungry. You can't sneak a piece of cheese by him in there. And he pulled his hands in. Look at him keeping his hands close to his chest. And he barrels it. Big time, too. That's well placed. And Merrifield bringing it up from first base, no problem. Paulo getting the boys right back in it.
Tying run in scoring position for Eric Hosmer, who just got done driving in 8 during the road trip. 9 hits, 4 walks. So he was on base 13 times in 6 games.
Oh, that's it.
Takes inside, ball 1. Detweiler was able to get Hosmer to pop out to third to end the first inning. Big breaking ball for a strike. Eric played his first big league game against the Oakland A's here in 2011 against a very similar pitcher when Gio Gonzalez was pitching for the A's. And then in the next game, he got his first big league hit against right-hander Brandon McCarthy, May 7, 2011. Winds up and pounds it foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And ever since then, he feels pretty good when he sees the green and gold.
Yeah, I'll say.
Breaking ball stayed up. Into the corner. Foul. His arms are so long. And he has gotten so many hits and some real big hits against lefties on pitches like this.
Right. He's fallen out. He's fallen out a little bit, but he's just able to reach out there. And the way he left the batter's box, I thought that it was going to be fair. Lots of times a hitter, he knows if it's going to stay foul, he'll just stay in the box. But Hosmer tried to talk that one into staying. It didn't work.
Fastball slicing, and it comes back to Davis. That ball stays straight. That's to the gap and to the wall, and a tie game, but The slice took some of the steam out of that line drive, and now 2 down.
Paulo Orlando doing a nice job at second base there. He looked around before the pitch was even thrown, and he knew right where the outfielders were playing. He wasn't going to get caught off guard there. You see him, he puts the brakes on. He says he might be able to get to that. Now with 2 outs, you're going to roll. You're going to run on anything hit. Morales 0 for 1. He's due.
They're a little bit of a slump.
Yeah.
0 for 1 tonight.
What happened?
One and one.
Morales 6 for his last 12 with runners in scoring position. He's been the bus driver.
And he has an RBI in 6 straight games for the first time in his career. That was interesting. It looked like, oh, maybe he got some sweat in his eye. You don't normally see a guy take all the way with the count 1 ball 1 strike, but he couldn't see. And good fortune for him, the pitch that he couldn't see was out of the strike zone.
Yeah, and away from him.
3-1 with Gordon on deck.
Morales is thinking hit, hit, hit. No. Last minute he's winding up. Just waiting for that mistake.
Still having trouble.
Yeah, several 3-1 counts from Detweiler in this inning on Royals. That's giving them the advantage. They're looking. They're getting some good hitting counts.
This is the 30th pitch of the inning for Detweiler. And that's into right center field and down. Morales ties the game. So he has a 14-game hitting streak, and now he's driven in at least 1 run in 7 consecutive games. And the Royals match the A's with a 3-run 3rd inning.
How about that? Royals answering back, working the count to their favor. Jammed him, but look, he kept a nice level swing, and he's able to fight it off out there.
Outside corner, a strike to Alex Gordon. Kendrys Morales has driven in 15 runs in his last 7 games. Now to Healy at 3rd, and that'll take care of Alex and the Royals. The A's get 3 in the top of the 3rd. The Royals get 3 in the bottom of the 3rd.
How about that? A little frenzy hitting. Paulo got it all started with that big hit down the line. Scored 2. Morales will take 1 there.
more bad luck than good luck over the past week. After a bad luck out in the first inning, he drives in 2 of the Royals' 3. And the Royals pick up Dylan G. We're back to all square beginning the 4th inning. And Maxwell, Bruce Maxwell, lines it into right field. And the A's have their leadoff man on for the first time. Maxwell walked his first time up. And that'll bring up Brett Eibner. Popped out to second base. First time up. Now Drew Butera goes out to have a chat with Dylan G. That might be as much to give the bullpen some time. And Dylan, could see him just glance out toward left field, so he knows there's activity out there. Scott Alexander and Brooks Pounders.
It's got 10 relievers out there in that bullpen. And with their backs against the wall, they're not going to wait around on any starter. When G can keep the ball down and use that defense like he did in that first inning.
Ball in.
2-1. Dylan walked 1 in each of the first 3 innings, which is rare for him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Change up grip, left it up, but Eibner a little bit out in front of it. And that's what that pitch is designed for. Keep him off balance and hitter could be out ahead of that pitch.
And there's a base hit into left center field. Maxwell doesn't run well, but he'll make the turn. Alex throws it back to second base to keep the double play in order. And now the A's have runners at first and third and nobody out.
Eibner, good job there. He just waiting back and using the middle of the field. He's just trying to slap it now. How about Maxwell? There's a nice heads up turn going into third base. Pressuring Alex Gord, but Alex didn't fall for it. Threw the ball in there to keep that runner at first base, and Eibner keep up the double play.
Joey Wendell grounded to short in the first inning. And then Dylan struck him out looking in the third. That's Dylan's only strikeout so far. Slider for strike 1.
Wendell's a guy who uses the whole field as a hitter. Scrappy type of player. High energy guy.
1-1. One and 2. Strikeout would be nice here.
Yeah, it would, but he would exchange a run for a double play ground ball, but strikeout's better than get the ground ball.
That'll be deep enough. And Paulo Orlando almost to the warning track. So Maxwell jogs down from third. And the A's regain the lead. Wendell gets the job done. It's 4-3 Oakland. And Ned Yost has no choice but to treat these games like playoff games. So Dylan G has shown that he can put it together and finish strong and pitch into the 6th inning. But Ned Yost, with all those relievers out there and only 20 games remaining, including tonight, needs to go to the pen. Brooks Pounders is a Chevy call to the bullpen. In 3 1/3 innings and gave up 4 runs in each of the last 2 innings. He departs with a runner at first and 1 out, and Brooks Pounders takes over.
Pounders, good fastball, slider. Now he's got 4 pitches when he wants to use them, but out of the pen, he's coming in with that hard heater. He'll probably go 90 to 95, anywhere in that range. Slider, you see him holding with his changeup grip.
That slider, I was talking to him about that in Chicago. When he was called back up, I didn't remember it being that hard and that tight. I mean, you could call it a cutter, really, if you want to. I mean, it breaks late. And he's developed that pitch this year. The slider, as Eibner gets back in time, the slider was just kind of a show pitch. He was fastball, curveball, changeup as a starter, but been working on different grips, trying to get a little different look with the slider, and it's been a great pitch. I mean, that first one there looked like a fastball until the last 3 feet.
And he's trying to stay on that outer part there against Valencia.
Andy Hawkins, AAA pitching coach this year at Omaha, is the one that talked to him about going to fastball slider if he's going to be pitching out of the bullpen. Chris Young has joined Scott Alexander in the bullpen. 3 balls, 1 strike. Line to deep left field, and that is going to go to the wall. Eibner fell rounding second base, so he'll go to third. He hit the bag awkwardly and then went into a knee slide after rounding second, so no run scores, and it's second and third with 1 out.
That's it for Pounders. Fell
He threw
behind.
a nasty slider for strike one, and then fell behind.
Yep.
Well, this is why you call everyone up for September. Another Chevy call to the bullpen. Scott Alexander will face Stephen Vogt. Brought to you by your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Visit for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 KC Metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Big crowd watching here tonight. No score at the end of 2, and then the A's scored 3 in the 3rd. The Royals scored 3 in the 3rd, and now Oakland has a run back and have runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Scott Alexander is in to face Stephen Vogt. And there's a base hit into right field. 1 run is home, 2 runs are home, and the A's have back-to-back 3-run innings.
Vogt wasn't messing around. He says he's going to try to get in there with a first pitch strike, and I'm going to be on it, and he hit it just right. Elevated.
And here comes Ned again. So Pounders got 1 hitter. Alexander gets 1 hitter. And it will be Chris Young out of the Royals bullpen. This is one batter and another pitching change. So 4 pitchers to the last 4 hitters. And Chris Young comes on to face Chris Davis with a runner at first, 1 out. Chris Davis hit a 3-run home run last time up.
Yeah, Ned's not messing around. I don't remember the last time we saw Ned make this many changes in 1 inning.
Last time we saw anyone make these many changes in 1 inning was probably in Cleveland.
Yeah. Terry Francona. Tito.
Inside to Davis, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Young fastball slider. Likes to elevate the fastball, get pop-ups when he's going good. Slider works nicely down. You can pile up some strikeouts.
2-1 on Davis.
Coming in, Young with 86 strikeouts and 82 innings pitched.
Three and 1. This is an A's offense which has struggled this year, to say the least. Fewest runs scored per game in the league, and averaging fewer than 3 runs per game over their last 15. Fouled away, 3-2. They also have the 2nd fewest walks for any offense in the American League, trailing only the Royals, but they've used that quite a bit tonight. They've walked 4 times. And so far just 1 of those has turned into a run. Bob Melvin talking to his bench coach Mark Kotze. Fouled it off of his foot. 3-2. That's the 5th walk for an A's hitter tonight. To be honest, it's not like the Royals pitchers are all over the place.
No.
They sure don't look like a team that doesn't walk very often tonight.
That looked like a strike.
Greg Gibson is the home plate umpire.
Must have been down.
On the ground to Colon. Out at second, Escobar. In time for the double play. Yonder Alonso. 4-6-3. The A's say, hang on, we want to take a look.
Well, Young doesn't induce very many ground balls. And it looks like it might have beat it.
And the A's will challenge.
Looks like he was in there.
On the left, the umpire who made the call, crew chief Dana DeMuth. On the right, second in charge, Greg Gibson. You know he's safe in your living room. The fans here tonight have seen it on Crown Vision.
And the Royals players, you know, they're heading back out on the field before the call was even overturned. Good hustle by Alonso.
So instead of the inning being over, it's 1st and 3rd. And Chris Young is going to pitch to Ryan Healy. So it's a 4-6 force out. Davis is retired. And now Vogt at 3rd, Alonso at 1st. Healy is single to left and walked. Outside, ball 1. Two balls and no strikes on Healy. Here's a strike with a slider, 2-1. A's arrive in last place and really sputtering to the finish line. They were swept at home over the weekend by the Mariners. They've lost 9 of their last 12, 3 of their last 4 series. 3 balls, 1 strike. They are a season low 22 games under 500. But tonight, 6 runs, 7 hits. All 6 of those runs in the last 2 innings. The Royals answered the A's with 3 in the bottom of the 3rd, and now the A's have answered the Royals with 3 in the 4th. A team that is struggling like the A's are, when they score 3 in the 3rd and the Royals come right back with 3 in the bottom of the 3rd, sometimes that's the game.
All right,
that's it.
Yeah, they're going to sit back and go, oh man,
here we go again. Yeah. Not tonight.
I think they're going to be enjoying playing a spoiler here in this month of September.
Alonso runs and another walk. 6 walks given up by the Royals in fewer than 4 innings. And now they're loaded up with 2 down.
Healy patient. When you're facing a guy like Chris Young with just 2 pitches, you know it's a lot easier. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to just sit on that heater, try to lay off of his slider. It eliminates all the thinking.
In the dirt to Semien. Vogt at 3rd. He's driven in 2 in the inning. Alonso at 2nd. Healy at 1st. For a moment, we thought the inning was over. First base umpire Dana DeMuth said that Alonso was out with an inning-ending double play, but the A's used their challenge successfully to extend the inning. Colon out from second base. They did not add on any more runs since the challenge, but they have 3. Still early to the bottom of the 4th. Oakland leads 6-3. Down with a 3-run lead. A Mazda game break. Two teams that interest the Royals. The Red Sox and the Orioles, and that's Mookie Betts. And an awkward ricochet off the monster in left field. Wow, so he drives in 2. And the Red Sox lead the Orioles big.
Did you see that ball? That ball was rising out there. He crushed it. Mookie Betts could be an MVP.
There's a line drive to left field. And not played very well, but getting the out nonetheless is Davis. And there's one down. All right, Hud, if you are looking for some inspiration.
I am.
There's the Royals, 4 games back in the wild card.
Okay.
2 seasons ago, what game would you say was the defining game of the Royals' character?
The whole season?
2014.
All right, I gotta go to the wild card.
All right, so what was the uphill battle facing the Royals in the wild card game?
They were down by 4, I believe, in the 8th inning.
Okay. And won, obviously. Last year, what do you think was the character defining game for the Royals?
Well, off of my small brain, I'm going to say Houston in that division series.
Okay.
They had their backs to the wall.
And what was that uphill scenario?
Okay, they were down by 4 in the 8th inning.
Okay. So if you're looking for some inspiration where the Royals are right now, they are down by 4 in the wild card beginning the last 1/8 of the season.
Hey, I hope the numbers match. We're all for that. That's a knock.
Or is it? Yes, infield single for Escobar.
On contact, Esky says, "Nah, you're not going to throw me out. I'm going to take that hit." No, it was off the end of the bat. He sees it's going to be a race his own. Simeon, nice try. #119th infield hit by the Royals, 4th best in the American League. Speed.
Low to Christian Colon. He grounded out to short in the 3rd inning. You probably noticed, following the Royals every day and looking at their lineup, that Christian Colon and Whit Merrifield, for that matter, are not just filling in for Raul Mondesi here and there. Mondesi has not been in the starting lineup on a regular basis for the past week, maybe a little more than a week. And Ned Yost has said, you know, he's just scuffling at the plate. They love his defense. They love his speed, but the Royals just need more offense. So Colon is getting more starts at second base, and Merrifield is getting more starts at second base. So 38 games, 183. He's provided some excitement at the plate, but the time is now.
That's exactly right. Now you take those numbers we just saw there from Mondesi, and you tell Dayton Moore that before he even came up, that's what he's going to hit. He'd say, yeah, that's what we expect. They knew he was going to struggle offensively, but not this bad. You know, he can bunt, but his swing, he doesn't look comfortable from either side of the plate.
Up the right field line. That's a base hit. Escobar goes to 3rd. Back come the Royals with 2 on, 1 out. Tying run coming to the plate.
Boy, this was a beautiful swing here by CC. Christian Colon. Ball's up and in. And he kept his hands inside, barreled it. Just went with that pitch. I mean, it wasn't exactly he went with it, but he earned that. He was able to guide it out in that direction. Royals hitting Detweiler pretty hard, although Escobar was off the end of the bat, still found a hole. Chesler lined out to left. Now it's up to Butera to continue his hot hitting.
That double got the Royals going in the 3rd inning. It was his. And he takes low, ball 1. It was a career high for Drew Butera in a season with 10 doubles. And so they go to work in the A's bullpen. Right field, that's sinking and going to be caught. Throw was not a good one, but it was shallow enough and not worth the risk for Escobar in a 3-run game. And now he and Mike Jerschele talk it over. You do have an infielder playing the outfield, so that could be grounds for taking a risk, but chances more times than not that that's going to be a more accurate throw than that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he's coming in, and he's got a good arm. Valencia does. Now, he was on the side with it and wasn't accurate, but I agree with you. Down 3 runs, you can't take that chance.
Alonso runs out of room. Witt grounded to short in the first inning, and then he walked and scored in the Royals' 3-run third. Big curveballs outside. Cutter inside, 2-1. They love Witt.
Yep. Hit it to him. Just out beyond the bullpen in left field with those fans.
A high changeup. 2-2. Colon is trying to distract Detweiler over at first. Jammed him. And Alonso will make the play, and the Royals leave 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. With 3 in the bottom of the 3rd, then the A's Scored 3 in the 4th. The Royals had 2 on, 1 out in the bottom of the 4th, but Detweiler pitched out of it. Royals used 4 different pitchers to get through the top of the 4th inning. Chris Young being the 4th, and he stays on for the 5th. The A's batted around in that 4th inning, so that 3-run rally was started by Bruce Maxwell, single to right, and then he scored along with Eibner on the 2-run single by Stephen Vogt. So Stephen Vogt, who had an excellent series against the Royals in Oakland, has come to the plate 3 times tonight. He's reached all 3 times. He has scored once and he's driven in 2. 1-2 on Maxwell. High fastball got him. First strikeout for Chris Young. Now Alcides Escobar has the longest active streak, playing in 152 consecutive games. And if not for a wild slide by Brett Lawrie here last season, who knows where that streak would be. Who holds the Royals record for most consecutive games at 305? I witnessed that streak, so
okay,
I'm going to take myself out.
Wow, that's pressure on me now.
One and one on Eibner. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Outfielder.
Carlos Beltran.
Outstanding guess, but incorrect.
How far back? Well,
the player who accomplished that played with Beltran.
Jermaine Dye.
Another outstanding guess, but incorrect. You have 2/3 of that outfield covered. Two and two on Eibner. Carlos Beltran played center. Jermaine Dye played right.
Johnny Damon. Sorry it took so long.
That's good. 3 and 2 on Eibner.
I remember playing against Johnny Damon, you know, when he was a Royal, and at that time he bunted a lot, and he was a pain. And Monty would call him a gnat or a grommet. And you know, I played second base, so I had to come in, cheat over, get over towards first base. You know, a guy like that gives you headaches if you're an infielder. Tact, speed, that works.
Johnny was very unorthodox in some of the things that he did. So you had to see him play every day. There's a base hit to right for Eibner. He has a 2-hit game. Because you could catch him in a series and he didn't have the most fluid swing. He had kind of a, you don't say this much about a position player, but he was very herky-jerky in the way that he threw. He didn't have a strong arm, but it was accurate, and he got to the ball quickly. He was fast. I mean, he was very fast. But you could watch Johnny Damon in a series and say, well, what's a big deal about this guy? But watching him play every day, he was something. And he was starting to hit for power by the time he was traded from the Royals to the A's, by the way.
I would never have expected him to have the career he had, though, just by the first few years competing against him. But he played hard.
That he did. He hustled. He has some borderline Hall of Fame numbers, Johnny Damon. If he had another healthy full season in him, he would have gotten 3,000 hits. Won a World Series with the Red Sox. He won a World Series with the Yankees. 0-1 on Joey Wendell. I remember early in Johnny's career, and actually I heard this story, I wasn't here yet. Johnny did not run out a routine ground ball, and the crowd let him have it.
Really?
And after the game, he told the reporters in the locker room that he was embarrassed for himself, he was embarrassed for his teammates, and he was embarrassed for the fans that he did not go 100%, and said that will never happen again.
Wow, he owned it.
Yep.
Like that.
2 balls and 1 strike on Wendell. Holtze looked it up. Johnny had 2,700 hits, 522 doubles, 408 stolen bases.
Wow.
There's a base hit to right field for Wendell. Eibner will make the turn. And now first and third and 1 out. So he looked it up, just wondering how many players in Major League history have at least 2,700 hits, at least 500 doubles, and at least 400 stolen bases. Johnny Damon is one of 9 players in history to reach those milestones.
Yeah, we are giving him some well-deserved love. I didn't know his numbers were that good. I just knew he was a solid player.
First and third, 1 out. The A's scored 3 in the third, 3 in the fourth, and now runners at first and third with 1 out in the fifth. All right, last point, and then we'll put a cork in it.
Okay.
The other 8: Ty Cobb, Tris Speaker, Honus Wagner, Paul Molitor, Craig Biggio, Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, and Roberto Alomar, all of whom I believe are in the Hall of Fame. No throw down to second base. So Drew Butera thought maybe there was a double steal. So Wendell goes to second.
Except for Barry, but he might get in there one of these days.
If not for off the field issues,
right,
he would certainly be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, his numbers are staggering. Barry Bonds.
Infield comes in all the way on the right side, and now Colon backs off. Infield halfway on the left side. Two balls, 1 strike. The A's have 9 hits already, and they've taken advantage of 6 walks. Three and 1. Looks like Dave Island's headed back to the phone. Get somebody going up in the bullpen.
Well, he better be careful with this pitch here. Valencia's already got 2 hits on the night. Butera wants to talk about it. And Valencia with first base open, he's seeing those 2 RBIs sitting out there saying, all right, I'm going to knock them in. This is where you throw that high fastball of Chris Young's and you get a pop-up out of it. That's what he's hoping for. Because Valencia is going to be in swing mode.
That's where he wants to be. 3 and 2.
Just an 1/8 of an inch from a pop-up.
Merrifield gets behind it. The ball carries. And Witt will play it to third. And they should get it out. Wendell overslid third base and was tagged out. And then Chesler ran into A's third base coach Ron Washington. He's out. So is that a triple play?
Ooh,
the batter
man.
was out, the runner at third was out, and the third base coach was out.
Yeah, he was, and fortunately, Ron didn't get hurt. And look, it makes the tag. Now watch him. He didn't see Ron Washington right there, and Ron Washington said, "Man, I better get up and get out of the way." Bowled him over.
Can't beat fun at the old ballpark.
Chesler Cuthbert with the takedown of Ron Washington. A lot of baseball to play. That 7-3 score looks familiar against the A's for sure. Well, you guys mentioned it earlier, how great the field looks, and a lot of people noticed that the field was really beaten up out in the outfield during the last homestand, which is strange to see because we know how amazing of a job Trevor Vance and company do. And I talked to Trevor, the head groundskeeper, and he said that prior to that last homestand, they had overseeded as they usually do. And then remember all the rain they got here in Kansas City, 10 to 11 inches, 4 inches in one night. And that disrupted and washed away a lot of the seed that hadn't been established. And then the seed that was established got hit with disease from all of that heat and humidity that followed. They overseeded again. They had great weather while the Royals were on the road and no other events going on, college games or charity events or anything like that. So the field sat idle the whole time the Royals were away. It's seated, and you got it back to looking like beautiful Kauffman Stadium.
Well, you really have to look hard to see, you know, any remaining issues with the grass from the last homestand.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but you know, good job, Joel. Way to get down there and talk to Trevor, because you know, I text Trevor a lot, and we go back and forth with that. But to sit down with him, you know, they were hit with some terrible weather. How about that? There was some mold that sat in there. All that rain.
No.
New pitcher for the A's, lefty Daniel Coulombe. Who has struck out 42 in 40 innings. Royals have Orlando, Hosmer, Morales. If anybody gets on Gordon coming up.
Ooh, I can see why now. That slider, it's good. I got him 88 to 92 with his fastball. Every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topic, Undisputed, with Skip and Shannon. Weekdays at 8:30 a.m. only on FS1.
Breaking ball for a strike to Eric Hosmer. He is 0 for 2. Trevor took over for George Toma, who is in the Royals Hall of Fame. And George wrote a book, The Nitty Gritty Dirt Man. And George Toma, famous for many things, but more than any other was his ability to grow grass in a short period of time anywhere, no matter the climate, no matter the elevation, no matter the type of grass. And I think the stories are in the book, but he was challenged on 2 different occasions. I think one of them was, could he grow grass on top of cardboard? And he did. Wow. And whoever presented that challenge to him, and I'm paraphrasing, sharply hit out to the second baseman Wendell, and there are 2 down. I want to say that someone said, I want to see you grow grass in your pocket.
Come on.
And he did. He grew grass, I think maybe in a jacket pocket or something. So anyway, Trevor is wise enough as it is, but he also had the chance to work with George Toma before Trevor took over as Royals head groundskeeper. And I hated that we could see the field the way that it was. It wasn't Trevor's fault, but Trevor takes so much pride in this ballpark. We're biased, but just about every team that comes to Kauffman Stadium says, I love coming here. They love the ballpark. The field is usually in pristine condition, and I really felt badly for Trevor, even though it wasn't his fault. I mean, you're never going to win a battle with Mother Nature. But look at how quickly he got the stadium, or the playing surface, you know, back to the way it looked in May.
I talked to a lot of grounds crews around baseball, ordering around before teams go out there for batting practice, and I'm out there, and Trevor Vance is well known. They all know him, respect him.
3-0 on Morales. He drove in a run in the Royals' 3-run third inning. He's driven in at least 1 run in 7 straight games for the first time in his career. And he has a 14-game hitting streak. That was called a strike, and it's 3-1.
You know, and Doug Melvin, I don't know, maybe he knows something we don't, but he gave up on Ross Detweiler. Bob Melvin, excuse me. He gave up on him. I mean, this is all he's got to do is to qualify for a win is to get 5 innings, but he left Detweiler on the pine.
That pitch had a little wrinkle in it. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Just pulled his head slightly.
And back with a strikeout. So Coulomb was down 3 balls, no strikes, and he has a 3 up, 3 down 5th with 2 strikeouts. Top of the 6th inning, fans honor a hometown hero, and it's appropriate that Eric Hosmer was clapping his hands because he's been a hometown hero. Major League Baseball every year gives away the Roberto Clemente Award to recognize the player who best represents the game through sportsmanship, community involvement, and positive contributions both on and off the field. And we found out during the last road trip that Eric Hosmer is the Royals nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award. The overall winner will be announced during the World Series, and that was Royals president Dan Glass officially presenting Eric as one of the 30 nominees for the Roberto Clemente Award.
I mean, it's outstanding if you win it, but just being nominated for your team is a huge honor. That's almost like when it is winning it, really. Huge kudos to him.
In a moment, we'll show you how you can vote to help out Eric. 2 balls and 1 strike on Stephen Vogt. Two and 2 on Vogt. He has walked twice, scored a run, and driven in 2. The A's have scored in 3 straight innings, 3 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Fouled away by Vogt. We also had a chance to hear from Royals general manager Dayton Moore and his thoughts about Eric Hosmer being a Clemente nominee.
For me, Hos exemplifies what a major league player should be. I mean, not only does he play hard on the field, he's a great teammate, but he's so impactful in the community, and he's always connected with our fans in a very natural way, and he's a special player and a special person.
Stephen Vogt is on for a 4th straight time as he doubles into the right field corner.
Yeah, I agree with Dayton. When you have a special guy like him, not only what he does on the field, but when he gives to the community like that, he indeed is very special.
So that's how you can help him out. You can help Eric receive the award by using #VoteHosmer on Twitter and Facebook. And again, the winner will be announced during the World Series. Always making somebody smile at the ballpark. Cuthbert low throw, and that'll be an error. Davis is saved. Vogt will go to 3rd.
Oz might have to get a new glove. I don't know if that ball went through his pocket or not. But he's been tinkering with his glove. He's had it restrung about 3 times this season, has Hosmer. Cuthbert got rid of it. Let's see what the ball does. It went off the end of his glove. See him looking. He's looking in his pocket on that glove right away. Well, you see the new strings there. I mean, once a year is all you really need to restring your glove. But he's had to have it done 3 times.
Didn't he go to a newer glove earlier this year and didn't like it?
Yeah,
and so
I sat down with him and we talked about his gloves, but it just wasn't feeling good for him. So he went to his backup, to try to get that to make it his gamer. And then this was his gamer for the last 3 seasons. And the leather wears down eventually. But he said that glove that he's wearing is going to make a trip to the Rawlings office and they're going to redo the whole glove for him. Get a little facelift. Because he likes it, and if you're comfortable with a certain tool, you got to stay with it. See, as valuable as that glove is.
outside, 2 balls, 1 strike on Alonso. Base hit center field. Oakland takes an 8-3 lead, and Davis will go to third. Yonder Alonso's first hit.
For a team like Oakland's 24 games out in the American League West, they love playing games like this with teams that have something to lose. They're like, you know what, this is what we're playing for. We're going to spoil, we're going to attack, everything to gain, nothing to lose. That's what a team like that does.
And they're back to work again in the Royals bullpen. There's Brian Flynn. Ryan Healy has been on 3 times tonight with a single and 2 walks. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's been 16 games since the A's have scored this many runs. And we told you before we started tonight that the A's had really been struggling offensively, averaging 2.7 runs a game in their previous 15. They've broken out tonight. 8 runs, 11 hits. Royals have walked 6. Although only 1 of those walks turned into a run.
That's why we talk about it. You know, even though we give the matchups before the games and we can present all the both offenses, pitching, their defense, but until the game is played, you never know, and any team can beat any other team on any given night. And that's what we're seeing. Oakland's taking advantage of the ineffectiveness of the starting pitching and the bullpen.
The dad on the left in the dark blue shirt, he played the ricochet off the press box windows and that guy's hands. Now look, he gives it to his little boy, and what's that little boy going to do with it?
Throw it.
Of course he is. You can't blame the kid. I mean, I'll bet every time that little guy has a ball in his hand at home, Dad says, all right, come on, throw it.
Yeah,
throw
exactly. it. Way to go. That's a nice moment.
And on to Facebook it goes. A's have now scored in 4 straight innings. We had no score at the end of 2. And now Oakland has scored 3 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and 1 so far in the 6th. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ryan Healy. Royals had tied the game in the bottom of the 3rd at 3. And now the A's have scored 5 over the last 3 innings. Alonso runs. That's a strikeout and no throw down to second base. So that's the first out of the inning. And runners at 2nd and 3rd, and before Marcus Semien comes up, Chris Young wants to talk about what he wants to do with Semien with Drew Butera, and that was a very short conversation.
Yep, probably was all about what sign you're given. Which one? First sign? First sign after 2? 3rd sign? All kinds of different ways they can do it.
Oh.
Semien is hitless. He is lined to left and he's popped to second twice.
Hey.
1-1. just inside.
You know, I've noticed tonight that Greg Gibson's done a great job on that inside pitch tonight. On both sides, it's been off. It looks like it's a good pitch, but it's been off the plate. And you hear him, you can hear him saying, "That's off, that's in."
Do you prefer that from a home plate umpire? That wouldn't just say ball, but they would say, "Nope, that's outside.
Yeah.
No, that's inside."
No, I like that, because then that saves me from having to ask him, was it in or what was it? You know, I liked it. But the more vocal, the better. Oh, man.
Into the corner, hooking, fair. And the Oakland A's have their second 3-run home run of the night. They have scored 4 in the 6th inning. And as Simeon touches the plate, Ned Yost comes out of the Royals dugout.
Oh man, that heater right down the middle was hammered. It wasn't a heater, it's a slider. Just kind of spun right there, belt high. He got it all.
(11-3) Oakland. And he did so much last year. Whatever the Royals needed from him. Long reliever, he was there. Injuries in the rotation early in the season, had some big starts. Long relief in the postseason, starts in the postseason. He answered the call, and he just hasn't been able to get on a roll for a long period of time this year.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been his type of season, but you know what? He adds a lot. He adds a lot of knowledge to the other guys in the bullpen. You talk to those guys all the time, and they're saying Chris Young's helping me out. He's giving me some good advice, and you know, hopefully it'll come back for him.
That floats into right field, and a base hit for Bruce Maxwell against Brian Flynn. And the Oakland A's, again, last in the American League in average runs per game this year. They've scored 11 runs on 13 hits. They have 2 3-run home runs. And they've done all that in fewer than 6 full innings.
Flynn, fastball, slider. Occasional changeup. Low to mid 90s. Can be effective when he gets that sweeper, that little slider back leg into the righties.
One and one.
Good spot.
Brett Eibner, in his first trip to Kauffman Stadium in an A's uniform, is 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Three and one. Said that a lot tonight on both sides.
Yes, we have.
Ross Detweiler had several 3-run or 3-1 counts in his 4 innings. Foul tip, and it's 3-2. Quicken Loan's rocket arms, and Brian Flynn lately has been a rocket arm. He has not allowed an earned run in his last 12 outings, covering 12 1/3 innings. And that is walk number 7 allowed by a Royals pitcher tonight. And now Joey Wendell, 1 for 3 with an RBI. With 1 out in the 6th inning, the Oakland A's have already had 21 base runners.
Yeah, they've been all over the Royals in the bases.
Up the middle, base hit center field. Maxwell will be waved home. Paulo Orlando throws to third. So the A's lead 12-3 and have runners at first and third. Still 1 out.
And they're going to hit around again. They hit around in the 4th where they scored 3. Now there's the 3-run home run. In the 6th, they've scored 5. Ooh.
Been a busy night for Dave Island. So 22 base runners for the A's in 5 1/3 innings. And for the second time in 3 innings, the A's will send 9 batters to the plate. Hey. 0-1. Helped him out. No balls, 2 strikes. Ryan Healy, the number 6 hitter, is the only A's hitter who doesn't have at least a run scored or an RBI. Out at second. Double play. Inning over. The A's bat 9. This time they score 5. A's are going to take another look. Out at second. And out at first.
Yep, nice turn by Colon.
A's concede the double play to the bottom of the 6th. Oakland leads by 9. Sixth inning. Alex Gordon will lead off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Jessica Bidwell from Grandview. And if the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Jessica wins $100. We had a winner yesterday. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jessica wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Second inning for Daniel Coulombe. Faced only 3 Royals in the 5th and got 2 strikeouts, and now he'll get Gordon, Cuthbert, and Escobar.
Coulombe, he's got some nice sneaky stuff. I mean, the fastball is coming in there. He's only 5'10", 185. You know, he's not a real tall guy, but crisp slider. I mean, that's a beauty. Ladies, you don't want to miss out on the girls' night out this Friday, presented by the Kansas City area Chevy dealers. While the VIP packages are sold out, all fans can enjoy activities and entertainment will take place prior to the game in the outfield experience. Plus, the first 10,000 ladies to walk through the gates will receive a royal blue fabric sling bag, courtesy of Kansas City area dealers. Proceeds from the event will benefit the American Heart Association Go Red for Women. Visit Royals.com today to purchase your tickets. Go Red.
One and one on Cuthbert. Chesler is single to left and line to left. One and two. Oh, little girls brought their gloves. Absolutely, they deserve a souvenir.
Nice play.
Hey, hold on.
Another strikeout, all with the breaking ball. He's faced 5 and he has struck out 4 over the last 2 innings.
Well, no wonder Bob Melvin went to Colomb. He's got good stuff. Now I'm going to call that a curve. That's not a slider. That looks like it's got some good depth to it, downward angle.
He's a Missouri native, Coulomb is, but he grew up in Arizona and went to college at Texas Tech. Fastball's outside, ball 1. Not real big. 5'10", 190. Remember Ricardo Rincon?
I do.
Little lefty reliever. Pitched with the A's and the Indians. He was one of the subjects of both the book and the movie Moneyball. And this guy Coulomb reminds me a little bit of Ricardo Rincon. That was that scene, if you've seen the movie, when Billy Bean's character, or Brad Pitt's character, Billy Bean, is trying to make a deal and he can't get approval from ownership because they wanted to make a trade with the Indians. So Billy Bean put up his own money, and it was for Ricardo Rincon with the Cleveland Indians.
How cool would it be to be in a movie like that? Even though, you know, it's based on true stories, but there was players, you know, that were active players that were in it. They talked about it. I thought it was a good movie. Very interesting.
He just got a piece of it. Coulomb came on in the 5th inning. Got a strikeout against Paulo Orlando. Then Eric Hosmer grounded sharply to second. And then after falling behind Kendrys Morales 3-0, he got a strikeout. And then in this inning, Gordon and Cuthbert have been down on strikes, all with his breaking ball. 3-2 on Escobar.
It's a sharp one.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree.
6 up, 6 down with 5 strikeouts for Daniel Coulomb. Like changes for the Royals, but let's begin with Hunter Dozier, who's making his big league debut out in right field.
Why not? perfect opportunity.
Billy Burns, traded from the A's to the Royals, takes over in left. Paulo Orlando stays in center. Daniel Nava is at first base. Raul Mondesi takes over at short. Christian Colon goes from second base to third, and Whit Merrifield goes from right to second. You got that?
Got it. Look, and believe me, this is an opportunity for these guys that don't get a chance to play every day. They're liking it. They're excited to be in the game. This is the time of game I used to come in. Yeah. It'll work. Ouch. Oh, Drew went after that one funny. Tried to backhand it. Backed up on him. See where it hit him. Yeah, right up the wrist and armpit.
The A's have batted 9 in an inning twice. Mondesi goes up and it's off of his glove. And Stephen Vogt is on for the 5th time tonight. That's his 3rd hit. He's also walked twice. And that is base hit number 15 for the Oakland A's. Every one of the starting 9 has at least 1 hit, and 8 of the 9, Ryan Healy is the only one, 8 of the 9 have at least a run scored and or an RBI.
Yeah, man, a lot of crooked numbers. We've seen the Royals do this to opponents at times. Now they're getting a little taste of their own medicine.
Chris Davis hit a 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. That gave the A's a 3-0 lead. The Royals answered with 3 in the bottom of the 3rd. And now Oakland has scored 9 in the last 3 innings. Flynn jumps ahead 0-2.
That home run he hit went in the top of the pool up there at that in the fountain in left center. I mean, it landed at the top. That's almost where Mike Trout hit his 2 years ago.
Three-pitch strikeout. One down in the 7th inning. Royals have used Dylan G, Brooks Pounder, Scott Alexander, Chris Young, and now Brian Flynn. And they turn 2. Slow runner. They do. So leadoff single. Flynn faces only 3. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Oakland has a 12-3 lead. The bottom of the 7th inning, and it's time for a premier Mazda of Kansas City game break. That is home run 536 for David Ortiz, tying him with Mickey Mantle for 17th on the all-time list. Wow. His 33rd of this year. And the Red Sox blew out the Orioles at Fenway Park tonight 12-2. So the Orioles know how the Royals feel tonight.
That's right. Happens.
Zach Neal takes over in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Neal's got an ERA over 5. Good time to get him in there. 87 and 93 with his fastball. Slider, change, curve. Well, Colon getting these opportunities to play. Time for him to hit his first career home run sometime.
2-1. Brings back some memories seeing him in the box at Kauffman Stadium at night against the Oakland A's.
That's right. Pressure.
Simeon throws him out, 1 away in the bottom of the 7th. Zach Neal out of the University of Oklahoma, drafted by the Florida Marlins in 2010. Ross Detweiler went the first 4, allowing 3 runs, wasn't able to come back out for the 5th to qualify for a win. And I'm sure that stings now with the A's ahead by 9. And then Daniel Coulombe was impressive in his 2 innings.
Sure was.
Faced 6, retired 6 with 5 strikeouts. But there's 3 more games of the series, and Royals hitters made some mental notes. So we'll see how he does the next time he faces the Royals. Foul tip, 1-1 on Drew Butera. One and 2.
Zach Neal has some good sinking action to his fastball. As the Royals hitting the top of the ball.
And that will drop foul. How about this for a year, Hud? Looking at Zach Neal. I mentioned he went to the University of Oklahoma, but before that, he went to Howard Junior College in Texas. You shouldn't know where that junior college is, but they won a national championship, Howard Junior College, in 2009, and they went 63-1.
Wow.
How about that for a year?
Well, they had 3 horses.
63-1.
Not 2. Usually you just got 2 guys. 2 starters that are dominant. They probably had 3 or maybe 4.
Zach went 13-0 on that 63-1 team. Big Spring, Texas is where Howard Junior College is. Who'd they lose to? Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Holtze's on it.
That'll get you a contract.
Well, it didn't get him a contract, but it got him a scholarship to the University of Oklahoma.
That'll work.
Where he was discovered by the Marlins. That's into the Royals dugout. Ned Yost ducking for cover. Two down in the bottom of the 7th.
Royals fans, mark your calendar for the 2017 Fan Fest, presented by Commerce Bank on Friday, January 27th and Saturday, January 28th at the Kansas City Convention Center. This family-friendly event will feature autograph sessions with current and former Royals, interactive games for all ages, Royals merchandise, appearances by Slugger, and much more. For more information and to purchase your tickets, go to Royals.com/fanfest.
Simeon makes a play on Whit Merrifield, and we head to the 8th inning at Kauffman Stadium. Tough night for the Royals. Oakland leads 12-3. Over at first base. What an interesting guy to talk to. He has a fascinating story, which we will get into, especially with the score 12-3 in the top of the 8th inning. But he hit one of the most memorable home runs, I'm sure, in Fenway Park history. This was the first game after the marathon bombings, and he hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning to put the Red Sox in front with their Boston Strong patches on their jerseys. And you never want to lose a game, but I think everyone with the Royals that day walked away from Fenway Park and said, you know what, today was bigger than baseball. This was about the beginning of healing in Boston, and Daniel Nava gave Boston and New England exactly what they needed.
They'll never forget him for that either. Thing I remember is the next day the Royals swept them in a
doubleheader. Yeah,
they said, all right, we'll give you that one.
And there's Nava over at first base. So Daniel Nava's story, and I don't know if we have enough time. From Redwood City, California, he had 5 hits his junior year in high school, and he didn't realize it till years later, but his coach in high school saved the baseball and gave it to his dad, his 5th and final hit of his junior year, because he thought that might be the last hit he ever gets in baseball.
Right. Okay.
Daniel Nava was 4'10", 70 pounds at the beginning of high school. He played his senior year. He batted 9th, and his coach would pinch hit for him with the game on the line. Does this have the makings of a big leaguer so far?
No.
So he goes to Santa Clara, very good private Jesuit university, and tried out for the team, an open tryout. Didn't make it. So he was the team manager for 2 years. So he washed uniforms, he dragged the equipment out to the field before practice and games, helped set up the field, helped the team prepare for road trips, and helped them unpack when they came back from road trips. He was the team manager, didn't play any baseball at all. There's a strikeout to Simeon, 2 down. But he did work out in the weight room, said he played a lot of basketball. He went to San Mateo, the College of San Mateo in the Bay Area. Bill Duplessis was one of his coaches, and Daniel said Duper was a big influence on him. Had 2 great years there. He goes back to Santa Clara and plays very well, not drafted, and plays a couple of years in an independent league. Good enough for the Boston Red Sox to sign him for $1. Red Sox drafted him or signed him out of an independent league for $1. And after grinding through the minor leagues, feeling like he was going to be released any day, somehow he ends up in the big leagues at Fenway Park. And in his first big league at bat, on the first pitch, he hits a grand slam. Wow. Mark my word, and now he pulls one out of the dirt. Mark my word, someday Disney will be making a Daniel Nava movie. Don't you think?
Let's hope so. Great story. It was worth waiting for, partner.
That's Arizmendi Alcantara taking over in center field. Max Muncy is the new left fielder. Matt Olson, who was just called up and is making his major league debut. He's at first base. So 2 big league debuts tonight. Hunter Dozier for the Royals. Ground ball to third. Wicked hop. And Ryan Healy handles it. And Matt Olson, just put into the game in his big league debut, handles the throw from Healy. And there's 1 down.
That's a heck of a play, especially to get Paulo on that one.
And now Daniel Nava, whom we were just talking about. Can you imagine that, Hud? I mean, everything you went through in the minor leagues 10 years in the minor leagues. Could you imagine after all that, getting to the big leagues, and on the first pitch you hit a grand slam? He told me the other day in Chicago, he said he came up with the bases loaded, he hits a fly ball to right, and he's thinking, oh, I made contact.
Right. He's happy.
The ball's carrying. He's like, oh, good, sac fly, got the job done. Ball continues to carry. He's thinking, double. I might have a double. It was against the Phillies, by the way.
Ain't getting that one.
Speaking of doubles, he'll be at second base with one out. Joe Blanton was the pitcher, by the way, who played with the Royals last year. And he was watching Jason Worth go back in right field, and then Worth stops, and he's thinking, ah, man, he's going to catch it. And then he turns and watches the ball sail out of Fenway Park. And he said immediately in his mind, he's thinking two things. Number one, don't disrespect the game. So he put his head down, you know, didn't want anyone to see him smile.
Right.
And number two, just make sure I touch all the bases. But he got to home plate, and he touched home plate, and all of his Red Sox teammates had their arms wide open, big smiles on their faces, and he realized, oh, okay, I can smile.
How about that season?
Bet you can smile.
And the confidence came after that. That's just a great story.
Ground ball back to Neal, the out at first base on Kendrys Morales. Let's go to Joel.
Well, Ryan, you mentioned that Bill Duplessis, the Royals replay connoisseur, as Hud likes to say, was one of his coaches in junior college, and that was at the College of San Mateo. And so, you know, in the case of Nava, he said he didn't know when he walked in Minnesota the other day when he was called up that Duper was still here. He just kind of lost touch, didn't know that he worked for the team. That was the first guy to greet him when he walked in. Bill's spot there in the clubhouse in Minnesota is right by the entrance. And so, understandably, both guys and Daniel were very excited for that reunion, but they shared both a great story that Billy used to coach first base, and having minor league experience and being a former professional ball player, he used to steal signs and give them to the hitters, and sure enough, he stole that sign. That's going to be out there. Stole a sign, game-winning home run hit by Nava, and the picture in the paper the next day was that swing, and in the background with the stolen sign giving it, Bill Duplessis.
And here they are in KC together. And now Panera takes us around the league. It was the Dodgers over the Yankees, or leading the Yankees 8-2 in the bottom of the ninth inning. Texas out in front of Houston. The Astros cannot beat the Rangers the last 2 years. Detroit is leading Minnesota. They're in the top of the ninth inning. And as we showed you earlier, Boston all over Baltimore 12-2. So the updated wild card standings, Toronto with the lead wild card position, 1 game advantage over Baltimore. And Detroit has an opportunity to cut their deficit to 1 game. The Yankees the same. Alec Mills just called up by the Royals. Takes over and misses down and away. Brett Eibner. So Alec Mills at AA Northwest Arkansas, AAA Omaha. 1 ball, 1 strike. He pitched 1 game for the Royals. He was scheduled to come up with the other September call-ups, but he was sick. He had the flu, and so that's the last thing the Royals needed, was the flu bug to go through the clubhouse this late in the season. Remember the chicken pox scare that the Royals had last year? So they waited till Alec was healthy, and now called up.
Yeah, he throws strikes. He's got good stuff. Low to mid-90s fastball, good slider. Curve and his changeup might be his best pitch.
Brett Eibner takes a leadoff walk. And that'll bring up Joey Wendell. Two hits and 2 RBIs for Joey Wendell. Late on a fastball. Wendell is out of the Indians organization. He was traded to the A's a couple of off seasons ago for Brandon Moss. Remember, he had that big game for the A's.
Sure.
In the wild card game here. 2 home runs, 5 driven in, but it wasn't enough. One ball, 2 strikes. I remember toward the end of spring training, and I brought this up before, I was talking to pitching coach Dave Island, and sometimes you can read into the numbers of spring training, sometimes not. What do they say, Hud? You don't want to read too much into spring training or September when looking at young players.
That's right.
But I asked Dave at the end of spring training, you know, who are some of the pitchers that maybe lesser known guys that we should be keeping an eye on? And he gave me 3 names. Scott Alexander, whom we saw last year, Matt Strahm, and Alec Mills were the 3 names, and they're all here with the Royals.
Mills got here just in time for tonight's game. They needed some extra arms. Well, that's a bad time to get sick. Every day you're on a big league roster, that counts as service time. So he missed time. Fans, the most popular way to follow the Royals postseason push is with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat brings you baseball wherever you are with scores, news, StatCast, live game, video highlights, bilingual access, and much, much more. Plus, subscribe to the At Bat Premium to get all MLB.TV games of the day, radio broadcasts, enhanced game features, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Download MLB.com at Bat for your favorite devices now. How was that story? That's the best I got tonight.
Well, we can tell you that Joey Wendell was Alec Mills' first major league strikeout. So the Royals took that baseball out of the game to go on Alec's mantle. And this is the first big league at bat for Matt Olson.
This is a lot like a spring training game.
we showed you that Mills pitched at AA and AAA. AAA, of course, for the Royals is Omaha. AAA for the A's is Nashville in the same league. So Nashville plays Omaha. And you wonder if these two have matched up in the minor leagues before. And in his first big league plate appearance, Matt Olson takes a 4-pitch walk. And if that was the case, I bet that helps a little bit with the nerves when you step into a big league's batter's box and you go, well, I faced this guy before.
Look at Mike Aldretti. He's giving the young rookie a hard time. He's still got no at bat.
And now we have another big league debut. Renato Nunez. He and Olson were called up. Nashville was recently eliminated. So when their season came to an end, the A's called up a couple more players, Olson and Nunez. So first big league at bat for Renato Nunez. And he almost got hit on the helmet. And Hunter Dozier will be leading off the bottom of the 9th inning. And will be getting his first big league at bat. Get that first swing out of the way.
That's right. Good little hook there.
Renato Nunez is from Valencia, Venezuela, where Salvador Perez is from. Big rip, and he missed. And it's 1-2. We would love to show you Salvi's reaction in the Royals dugout, but he's not here. Salvi had a little boy earlier today, Johan Salvador. So he was in the original starting lineup, but it was time to head to the hospital, and we hope to see Salvi back here tomorrow night. Still 1-2.
They said before the game that Salvi could make it by the end of the game, but there's really no need to.
Still 1-2. Out in front, still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alec Mills was a 22nd round pick of the Royals in 2012, so maybe not immediately one of those guys who you figured was destined for the big leagues. Drafted out of the University of Tennessee Martin. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Mills, his stuff is moving all over the place, but it's been a while since he's been out there facing hitters. It's hard to find the strike zone.
Told the story the first time he was up with the Royals. After playing in high school, Alec Mills did not get any Division I college offers, so he went to Tennessee Martin to pursue an engineering degree, but One day he drove by the baseball field, saw the guys working out, and realized baseball wasn't out of his system yet.
Yep.
Called the head coach and got a tryout.
Good for him.
Squibb to first. Nava to Mills. 2 down. And pretty good scouting for the Royals when it comes to projecting. And that's a word that comes up quite a bit in scouting. In signing Alec Mills, his earned run average in college was 5.81.
Wow.
Now the aluminum bat has something to do with that, but still, that's where a scout sits behind home plate with a radar gun, and maybe he's not blowing away the competition, but they'll look at the velocity, they'll look at the movement, they'll look at the mechanics, they'll look at the size, and he's 6'4", 205 pounds. And you begin to think, okay, if he matures, if he fills out, if we get him in our system and get him in the hands of some professional pitching coaches, taking nothing away from his college coaches, we can project, we can imagine that he could become fill in the blank.
Yeah. And you hope that you can fill those. Ooh.
Alcantara hits one off the wall in left center field and will drive in 2. So Arizmendi Alcantara is at second base with a 2-run double, and now it's 14-3 Oakland. And Max Muncy will bat for the first time tonight. Low to Max Muncy. 14 runs, 16 hits, and again, this is a team that was really struggling offensively. It's been a struggle all year for the A's, but scoring fewer than 3 runs per game in the last 2.5 weeks coming into tonight. 2-0 on Muncy. This is Jeremy Hazelbaker, and hitting a home run off of Kyle Hendricks, who had a no-hitter through 8. What a way to lose it.
Oh. Cardinals getting beat at home again. Well, Mills is not going to get any help. I'm sure Dave Eiland, when he made his visit, said, hey, look, young man, this is your inning here.
So he's had 3 walks in the inning, and 2 of those have turned into runs. First and second, 2 down. And Ryan Healy takes ball 1. Healy is the only starter for the A's tonight that is without a run scored or an RBI. Two and 0. hasn't pitched in a while, coming off the flu. So you wonder if he's lost any weight, and he just has to take one for the team here.
Right.
He is saving the Royals bullpen by getting him through the 9th inning.
Hey.
2-1.
2-1.
And that's drilled to right center field. Paulo Orlando got a glove on it. And the A's are going to get 2 more runs. So Healy, like every other A's starter tonight, ends up with 2 RBIs. So now all 9 have at least a run scored or an RBI. And Oakland leads 16-3 in the 9th inning.
Ouch. Paulo, great effort. I mean, he went after that ball like it was a tie game. Ball was slicing away from him. See how that ball's moving away, and he just couldn't get it in his pocket. He wanted it.
That's a season high 16 runs for the A's. So don't be telling the Royals that this is the team who's scored the fewest runs per game in the American League.
That's right. On paper, coming in, you're thinking this is a team that we should beat. But paper doesn't win you games.
Ouch. Fouled it off of his ankle.
That ball is moving in. Got that one flush. Ooh.
This is what Ned Yost wanted to avoid in the 9th inning, having to use anyone beyond Mills, but Mills has given up 4, and he's facing his 8th batter in the inning. This should do it. And Mills gets out of the 9th. So we have Hunter Dozier's first big league at bat to look forward to in an otherwise frustrating night for the Royals.
Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Buy Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit us at MidwestFordDealers.com.
Well, this gives the crowd something to cheer for since the bottom of the third inning. Hunter Dozier with his first major league at bat, facing Zach Neal. Outside for ball one. Big numbers at AA and AAA. 44 doubles, 23 home runs. Royals first round pick 3 years ago. Just foul outside of third base.
Fighting the butterflies for sure, even though in this game it's late. Nice ovation. Don't have to make it up all on one at bat though.
Takes inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. He was the 8th overall pick in the 2013 draft out of Stephen F. Austin.
Oh,
good rip.
He had a pitch. And rarely do you see anymore guys that have a glove on their bottom hand and not on their top hand. Oh, that was the one. Good rip. He's got really nice opposite field power. Watching him taking batting practice for the last week.
Down on strikes, but there will be many, many more big league at bats for Hunter Dozier.
Better believe that.
And even with a strikeout, he gets an ovation walking back to the dugout. I like the way he swings the bat.
Yeah. He had a couple of there. He could have hit and just missed them.
This is Raul Mondesi's first at bat tonight. 0-1. On the ground to Wendell. 2 down in the 9th inning. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Christian Colon with 2 outs, nobody on. Brett Eibner now in right field, and that is game 1 of the series. So the Royals will flush this one as quickly as possible. 16-3 A's. We'll be right back.